What's going on, guys? I'm Prelim Poster Boy, and today I'm going to be going over some hot takes I have for 2024. Disclaimer, these are hot takes. I don't fully believe in all of them, but there is something to be said about each one that I believe in that you guys may think differently afterwards. So let's get into the first one. Chito Vera beat Sean O'Malley in the rematch. Now, they fought 3 years ago in a weird contest. And, well, why do I believe this in the first place, right? So, Sean O'Malley, he's a big star now. He gets the knockout over Aljamain Sterling. On the same card, Chito Vera beats Pedro Munoz, right? So you look at both the matchups, right? They both beat guys. O'Malley's going out there, knocking dudes out, knocking out the champion Aljamain Sterling. Chito Vera's having a close-ish decision with Pedro Munoz, getting 50-45 by Corey Sandhagen. And now you may be saying, well, that's just dumb. Why would you think Chito Vera beat Sean O'Malley? In my opinion, I think he's got the kryptonite to Sean O'Malley, right? What is Sean O'Malley's Achilles heel? You may be asking. Is it the grappling? Sure. We have yet to see Sean O'Malley go 5 rounds. Hard 5 rounds. He went 3 rounds in his bout against that one guy with the green hair. I really don't remember his name, but you know which fight I'm talking about. God, I can't remember his name. Anyways, he has a kryptonite to beat Sean O'Malley, and I'll paint a picture of why. Chito Vera has one of the most godly chins in MMA. I've never seen the guy scratch, I've never seen the guy bruise, never seen the guy bleed. He does not get finished. Sean O'Malley in this fight is going to have to look for a finish, right? Because we don't know if the cardio is going to stand up. And that's another thing with Chito Vera. He's got amazing cardio, amazing chin, amazing cardio. He can go 5 rounds. Now, the question with the matchup is, can he go hard 5 rounds, right? O'Malley's going to want to get his get back for that one loss that he claims is not a loss, but it was a loss. Now, it could be a different matchup come fight time, and I could look like a total fool with this prediction, but I just think there's something to Chito having A, an amazing chin, and B, amazing cardio, and C, already beaten a guy. This might be a hot take, but it's the first one I got. I think it could happen. I'm still on the fence on who I want to pick, but to the main public, I think you'll see about 85% of people confidently go with O'Malley in this matchup, just because he's got the better wins over time. He has the belt, just beat one of the bantamweight goats of all time in Aljamain Sterling. So this could be a hard matchup for O'Malley, or it could be an easy one. But I'm just going to say it right now. I think Chito Vera might have the blueprint to beat O'Malley, right? Because we haven't seen O'Malley really get beat since Chito, right? In a weird matchup, I get it. But it could be something to look at, Yeah. We're starting off strong with the Chito beats O'Malley. People aren't going to like that one because O'Malley's the new big star in the UFC, but I could see it happening. I could see Chito beating O'Malley in the rematch. Let's get on to the next one. Let's get into a really hot take. I shouldn't say actually a really hot take. This is like probably my second hottest take I have on here. Dustin Poirier retires from MMA. Let me just lay down the foundation to why I think this can happen. All right. Dustin Poirier has been in MMA in the UFC for a long, long time. I think he's 34, 35 right now. He's fought literally everyone you probably could in the UFC, and fought in everyone to his skill set that he has fought so far. Who is he going to fight that's going to make sense for him? Nate Diaz? I just don't think Nate Diaz I just don't think that's a fight that that's just going to happen. I really don't think it's going to happen. I mean, it could happen, but if I had to predict, I don't think it will happen. Dustin Poirier's fought literally everyone that he possibly could. He's fought in Oliveira. He's fought in McGregor 3 times. He's fought in Chandler. You know, no one really has a name for him to even fight. I put this on here because I really do think, you know, he's made enough money. I mean, the 2 headliners versus Conor, that'll make enough money for a good enough money. He's got his own company. He's got a family. I don't think there's much upside for him really fighting right now besides a paycheck, because he just lost to Justin Gaethje to a brutal head kick. He's not going to be fighting for a title anytime soon. Everyone in his weight classes they're either fighting each other or he's already fought him. So I could see Dustin Poirier legitimately retiring from MMA. Now, I'm sure the UFC could find him a matchup. I'm sure he won't retire in 2024, right? He'd probably want to retire mid-fight in a couple years. But I could legitimately see it. Like, he's got nothing more to fight for. He's got enough money for his family. He's fought in everyone he possibly could. Might as well go out, you know, maybe get one more fight during UFC 300 and call it quits. I mean, I legitimately could see that happening. And I would not be shocked if it happened. So, yeah. It'd be a sad one, too. I'm a Dustin Poirier fan. I think he's got an entertaining fight style. And it'd be sad to see him retire, but I could see him having a fight booked for UFC 300, winning that fight. Probably against Nate Diaz, now that I'm thinking about it. Probably against Nate Diaz. And just retiring after that, which would be sad, but I could see it happen. Is it gonna happen? I just don't really fully believe that, but I could see it. I really could see it, and I think for a hot takes, this isn't one of the more wild ones. I think this is a decent take that could happen. I mean, he's 34, 35 years old, done everything in the sport, been a company man for that long, has a lot of wins in the UFC. A lot of records. I don't even think he has a record. Does he have a record? Someone look that up. I don't know. I'm just talking out of my ass right now. But yeah, I could legitimately seeing it happen after UFC 300. And this is a hot takes video, so I'm going to stay with my... he's going to retire after UFC 300. No one's going to take it from me, okay? This is my hot take, okay? Next one. This one will get people up in arms. Or people will like this one. This is probably the hottest take I have. Actually, no, I got one more that you'll see that's a little bit hotter. It's a prediction more than a hot take, because I think anyone could really see this. Adesanya getting his belt back. Whew, let's digest this one real quick. All right. There's many, 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 many ways back to the belt. I shouldn't say just his belt. I think getting a belt back. Let's go through the whole progress of where he can get this belt back. Let's write the story, right? We all know he lost to Sean Strickland in UFC 293, right? And Sean and Dricus are fighting at UFC 297 in Canada in about a month for that belt, right? Now, how is this a hot take? All right. Adesanya, I think his skills have kind of his fast twitch ability has kind of went. He's older. He's 34, I think. He's not going to be the same as he was, right? Let's just get that. He's not going to be prime Adesanya 2019, 2018 when he's like fighting for the belt against Whitaker and Gastelum and Paulo Costa. That's peak Adesanya, right? That's where his athleticism peaked. That's where his strength peaked. That's where all of his physical attributes peaked, was during those days. And you can kind of see it at the later half of his title reign. He wasn't as dominant, right? He would lose some fights against Blachowicz and Pereira and obviously Strickland. But I think there's a way back for it. And I know a lot of people say, oh yeah, there's always a way back for Adesanya because he's one of the bigger stars in the UFC, right? I think a lot of people now have switched that narrative from, okay, yeah, Adesanya, let's see him take on, Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 300. You really think the UFC isn't going to try to juice or try to squeeze every little living juice out of Adesanya until he literally can't walk anymore, until he's Tony Ferguson? And speaking of Tony Ferguson, I'm going to do a video later on this week of Tony Ferguson. God, so someone needs to get that man. Anyways, I think there's a legitimate way for Adesanya to get back to the belt. Now, the question is, does he want to go straight back into the belt? He talked about being out till 2027. I really doubt he's going to be back till 20. Who's really sitting there and be like, oh, Adesanya's going to sit out for 4 years? No, he's not sitting out for 4 years, okay? He's waiting for the situation to dissolve between Strickland and Duplessis, because you got to think about it. He's got he's got two different chances. He's literally sitting in a perfect situation not to get his belt back, right? He's already got the storyline with Duplessis and already has the storyline with Sean Strickland. Both matches, whoever wins that, you're guaranteed Adesanya is going to get back in that. But I think the more hot take is seeing him fight Pereira at light heavyweight. That's another passage for him to get to the belt. He's got 3 passages. Now, why is this a hot take? Because a lot of people probably wouldn't favor him in all 3 of those matchups. Let's just be real here. He got schooled by Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland, guy who's got, not flashy techniques, all defense, and made Adesanya look like a little kid out there, winging big hooks and overhands and couldn't land anything, getting popped in the face, looked slow. Looked like the worst form of Adesanya we've ever seen at 34 years old. I think he could find another flash in the pan, whether that be just strictly motivation against a guy like Sean Strickland or Duplessis. Especially Duplessis. If Duplessis beats Sean Strickland at UFC 297, I could see probably, I hate saying this, because everyone always says this, but a motivated Izzy. I could see him legitimately being seeing red going into that fight. Would it be good for him? Maybe, maybe not, right? But I could see him just getting one of those Pereira knockouts, right? Finding a Pereira knockout and getting his belt back, and then ultimately probably losing it again. But I could see it happening. The UFC loves Adesanya. They want him to be on all their billboards because he's a big name, right? For right or wrong, he's a big name in the UFC. Everyone can admit that. Yeah, I could see a path for him getting back to gold. Next one, Brock Lesnar returns for UFC 300. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm kidding. The last one is Shavkat versus JDM for the interim belt. Another one I kind of have to paint the picture for. So JDM versus Gilbert Burns are fighting. They're fighting each other. It was UFC 299 or is it 298? It's one of the two. I'd have to check my sources again. But anyways, I think that's a favorable matchup for JDM to go out there and beat Gilbert Burns, because Gilbert Burns is coming off of fucking 5 surgeries. He's 37 years old. JDM is not even in his prime yet. And I think he's got everything to beat Gilbert Burns, right? Now, where does Shavkat come into this, right? He hurt his ankle against Wonderboy Thompson. I'm going to guess he's going to take a little bit of a layoff here. And that will leave us to a timeline between, I'm going to say September, October, right? Where this is probably October for the Abu Dhabi card, because this is where it comes in. Leon Edwards is either going to fight Bilal or he's going to fight Islam. And in this hot take scenario, I'm saying Islam either fights Oliveira or Gaethje beats him, starches whoever, right? And he fights Leon Edwards. So it's Islam, Leon, and I could see the UFC pulling out an interim belt. And who better to put in the interim belt for than Shavkat versus JDM? I think the fans would love to see this matchup. I think it'd be an interesting matchup. Would it be warranted for an interim belt? Probably not. Interim belts are never warranted because most of the time they're not necessary. Just call them a number one contender. But I think it's a hot take because JDM, a lot of casuals look at the ranking. Oh, JDM, he's not even top 10 yet. Shavkat, he's already top 4. We've seen the UFC kickstart a lot of young players, a lot of young fighters, and catapult them into the top 5 and catapult them into big fights. And I think JDM is due for a big fight. He's getting a big fight versus Gilbert. If he wins that fight against Gilbert, he will be in the top 5. You really think the UFC isn't going to put JDM in a big fight? They're going to. Shavkat's already got a name behind him. And this is a perfect matchup between two young guys, two strikers, and Shavkat, a grappler, right? Both have power in their hands. You know, imagine JDM with the power he's got in his hands against Shavkat's chin. I think Shavkat's eating that, but it's still interesting. And what makes this better and more likely to happen is look at the top 10 of the welterweight. Everyone's old. You got Leon the Champ, he's 32. Kamaru's 36. Colby's 35. Bilal's probably going to get his chance against Leon, right? And Gilbert Burns 37. I mean, like all these guys are old. None of these guys are really fighting back for the title besides maybe Bilal. Why not get both those guys in there? This is a perfect amount of time in the perfect matchup at UFC Abu Dhabi next year to happen. I think it could happen, and I would love to see that fight. And I think this is more of a prediction than a hot take. Well, I mean, like, they're the same thing, right? But this is just like, I could see the next interim belt for the next weight class could be welterweight because Islam and Leon could fight. And I think Shavkat and JDM for the interim belt will probably happen. I think this is one of the hot takes that I want to happen more than anyone else. Do I think it has the best chance? No. Because there's a lot of, Bilal might not get the shot right, and they might do Shavkat versus Bilal for the interim title, which would be, first of all, it's so dumb. I'm not the biggest Bilal fan, but my God, just give the guy a title shot. Right, this is a perfect time. No one has really cemented themselves for a title shot. Give Bilal a title shot, and then all this could happen, right? It all could happen. Think about Leon versus Bilal, like, in May next year, and Leon wins or whoever wins, and they take a break to fight Islam. That's a break in the division. Throw this matchup together after JDM probably beats Gilbert, and you got a matchup, man. This would be a really fun one. So yeah, anyways, this is my hot takes for 2024. I was gonna put more in, but I thought I'd go deep into each one and tell you the reasons why I think each one is gonna happen. So yeah, stay tuned, like and subscribe, and I'll be getting content out here for the rest of the year before UFC starts, and then we'll get into some predictions, some recap videos. But anyways, see you later. Peace out.